Hi everybody, I'm Ellen Gormley and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing this really fun Pick a Posie motif. Now this is from my book, but I've changed it a little bit over time because my preferences have evolved over time. So the Pick a Posie is on page 38 of my book, Go Crochet Afghan Design Workbook, but stick around even if you have the book to see what changes that I've made in this adorable little three-dimensional motif. Now I have made this motif out of Brava worsted yarn, and I will put the link in the description below for those. But I think I'm going to do a different color scheme for the one we're going to make together. So I have this Brava worsted in like a light gray and a green color. Now here's an important note. Oh, here comes the cat. Here's an important note. In a pattern, when it says color A and color B, it does not refer to the color that is most dominant. It refers to the color that you use first. Let me get Theo out of the way. So in this motif, color A is the yellow because we use it first, even though it feels like maybe the main color is the purple. So decide which color you want to be the yellow in color A. I am going to choose the gray because I want the outside edge to be green. We're going to start with a chain 4 and join with a slip stitch to form a ring. So give you a darker background, and we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you know that I believe that crocheting is a relaxing and valuable use of our time, although it's hard for it to be relaxing when the cat is constantly grabbing the yarn when I'm on camera. So chain 4 and slip stitch in the first chain from the slip knot to form a ring, and allow your fingers to manipulate it so that you can see where the stitches are going to go. Now we are going to chain 1 just to get us started, and we will 8 single crochet in the ring. 1, 2, 3. Do you see where I'm putting these here? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep your scissors handy for this project. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Once I have my 8 single crochets in the ring, I'm going to join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet. I always weave over my tail there, pull the loop up, and fasten off. Okay, you can also finish off the round by, let me go back, at the end of the last stitch, you can cut the yarn, pull that loop, the yarn all the way through, thread it in the next, not the next stitch where you would normally join with a slip stitch, not here, but skip that one, pull the yarn through, the cut tail through, and then weave it back in the first one to make an invisible join, okay? So the invisible join looks like this, really pretty. Okay, so then we are going to take the green, or the second color, the color B, and in our example, it's the purple, and we will join or put a slip knot on the hook. In any chain, I like to join in a different spot than I finished off. So I will deliberately join over here if I knew I finished off over there. I don't know why I do it. I guess to stagger my tails. We're going to join with a single crochet in any of the single crochets. So just join with a single crochet. Place another single crochet in the same stitch. I do have worsted weight yarn. This is a J size hook. I think the actual pattern calls for a K, but my, it really depends on your gauge and how waffly it gets. My purple and yellow one was done within, I think, a J size hook, so I'm going to go ahead and stick with it. We're placing 2 single crochets in each single crochet around, and since we had 8, we will now have 16. Working over the tails as we go. This is one of the motifs where there are a lot of tails because I'm using 2 colors and there's 1 color for each row or round. But in this, in my all call blanket, Can I pull it over here? Here is the Pick a Posie in all one color. So here's what it looks like in all one color. It is frilly and lovely, like a sea anemone, the three-dimensionality of it. That's what it looks like in all one color. So you can really have a lot of fun with colors here, either all one color or scrap yarns or whatever you want to make it match the color scheme you are going for. Speaking of colors, my nail polish today is Essie Hey There. So we're going to finish up this row. We've got 2 single crochets in each stitch. I'm going to do the invisible join again, so I'm going to give myself a little bit of a loop. I'm going to cut with about a 2-inch tail. I'm going to pull the cut tail through the loop. It looks like it's wrong, but it's not. We're going to skip the first stitch where we normally would slip stitch. I'm going to put my hook in the second stitch, both loops of the second stitch. I'm going to weave the tail through that top 2 loops of that second stitch, pull it all the way through, and then the last stitch, I'm going to put my hook back in there and pull the tail down. So we're making like a faux stitch or a duplicate stitch right over the top of that other one. So row 3 or round 3, we're going back to the gray, and I'm going to put another slip knot on my hook, join with another single crochet, and you know I like to move around my tail, so if my tail is over here, I'm going to join over here. It's just the way I like to do things, to stagger my tails. So I'm going to single crochet, then I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the next stitch. And we'll do this all the way around, but make sure you hang in there with me because there's something a little bit different I'm going to do on the next, in 2 rounds from now, that's different from the book. 1, 2, 3, single crochet in the last one. Now I'm not going to bother to do an invisible join here since I don't have 2 stitches in a row. I will go ahead and do a traditional join, which is a slip stitch in that first single crochet, and fasten off as normal by putting the cut tail through the loop that's on the hook. Okay, back to green. Put a slip knot on the hook again, put the hook in there, turn our motif so that the tail is in a different spot and then where we're fastened off. Join with a single crochet in any of the single crochets of the previous row, or round rather. Single crochet. This time we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it starts to look like a color dipped carnation. I think is a little bit of what this inspires me or reminds me of. So I'm skipping the chain 3 space. I'm skipping the chain 3 gray space and putting a chain 4 green space over the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the chain 3 space, single crochet in the next single crochet, chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'd like to give a shout out to my channel members. Thank you all for supporting the channel. Channel members get videos that other members don't get. So thank you so much for supporting me, and so I will do my best to support you. So it is supposed to waffle. It is supposed to be frilly. It is supposed to be 3-dimensional. So if it is making texture, you're doing it right. We are going to slip stitch, join in that first single crochet, and just do a traditional join where I pull it through, cut the tail, weave the tail through the hole where the hook had been. It's time for more gray. Now we're doing this gray section that is the background of the motif. So you might have guessed that you make this motif like a square and then applique this little flower on, but you don't. You actually start with the flower and then we will work the background behind it, and we're going to do that now. So I am grabbing my hook and yarn. I'm placing a slip knot on the hook. This is what I did differently on this one. So in the book, I had said single crochet, and I'm going to actually join with a double crochet because I want a little bit more space there for the flower to float. So in the book it says join with a single crochet. I'm going to join with a double crochet, which means I'm going to yarn over. In any one of the chain 3 gray loops is where I'm going to join with a double crochet. I'm going to work behind the green and into a chain 3 space. So I'm going to join with a double crochet. There is a video on how to join with a double crochet if you need it. 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to chain 6. We're going to skip all of these stitches. We're going to skip 1, 2, 3 chain 3 spaces and double crochet in the next. We're just creating a frame around the motif, creating a frame around the back of the motif. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't be too tight on these now. Skip 1, 2, 3 gray loops and double crochet in the next chain 3 gray loop. We're just creating a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a structure to go underneath it. 1, 2, 3, and double crochet over here. So it's kind of like the scaffolding. Before you build the building, you have to put up the scaffolding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the rebar and the cement. Skip 1, 2, 3 gray, chain 3 loops. Skip 1, 2, 3, and at the beginning in the top of the double crochet, we are just slip stitching. So we just have 4 chain 6 spaces. Look at this. This is the back. So it's just making this like floating picture frame on the back of the motif. And that's under these stitches. So it makes the thing that the next row will hold on to. So that's all we're doing, is making a little frame. Okay, so then the next row or round, I'm going to also do, I'm going to do a 1, 2, 3, chain 3. It counts as a double crochet. In that corner, these double crochets now become corners. I'm going to double crochet twice. So we'll place 3 stitches. The chain 3 counted as the first double crochet, 3 stitches in each corner. And then in this chain 6 space, I'll place 7 double crochets. 1. Now it feels a little fiddly and it feels a little loose. It feels like, whoa, I'm out on a high wire, but it is okay. Just go with it. Have some trust. And then when we get to the double crochet, there'll be how many in there? 3. 1, 2, 3. Theo has finally given up and is laying down at my feet, which is so sweet, but he has given up on stealing my yarn, which I am grateful for. So 7 double crochets in the next chain 6 space. Also, I was trying to get to the right number of stitches when I designed this motif for the book, because all of the motifs in the book, all 50 motifs, are designed to have at least 2 of the sides that are 13 stitches so that they can meet up and match up with other motifs in the book. So I'm going to just lay it out, find my double crochet 3 groupings, which are the corners, kind of make sure I'm on the right track. I like to spread it out and make the shape pop a little bit, compare it to my original swatch to make sure we're right on the right target, not on the hook. Then we will go ahead and, did you see me? I just turned it automatically because I wanted my tail on a different side. I always like to add new yarn in a new spot. So I'm going to pick the chain, or the corner, which is 3 double crochets, and the middle one, I'm going to single crochet, and this is different from the pattern in the book. Now I will half double crochet and single crochet in the same spot. So in that corner in the book, it just says 3 single crochets, but I like to make the corner a little bit more defined by placing the half double crochet in between the 2 single crochets. Now using both loops, I am single crocheting all the way across. You could always do front loop, back loop if you wanted a little bit more texture, but on this pattern, I'm using both loops until I get over to the middle crochet of the 3 double crochet corner. And in that one, I'll do the same thing I did before, single crochet, half double crochet, single crochet. Here's where my join was. So I'll go ahead and hit the stitch in there as usual, and then maybe pull the tail a little bit tighter and work over it to help hold it anchored in place. Single crochet, half double, single crochet. Crochet in each of the stitches across, and then we could also do the invisible join here if we want. So cut, pull, skip one, weave in the next one, then weave in the last one, and finish the duplicate stitch like that. So we'll have to weave in this tail as well, no big deal. We'll just weave it in the back side of these under stitches, not a problem. Now there's many ways you could do it, but what I would probably do is turn my motifs and make sure that I don't have I don't like to have like two joining sides next to each other. So I would make sure that I don't have two sides both joining. One can join or the other, but not both. And I would flip them together like a book so that the right sides are facing. Then I would match up the stitches. I'd like the middle stitch of the corner, which is right here, and the middle stitch of the corner, which is right there, and make sure that they are matched up. 1, 2, 3, there it is. Okay. And then I would maybe put my hook in there to make sure that I have the right spot. And I think this one, you could either crochet through just the inner loops here and here, or through all 4 loops like I have shown here, or just the outer loop, which would be this one and this one. So it's totally up to you. You could also put the wrong sides together, and this seam that I am now creating would go on the front, and it would be a textural design element. It's totally a decision you get to make when you are doing it. So we will just go ahead and grab the yarn and pull up a loop, and we can either slip stitch or single crochet. So that's a slip stitch, all 4 loops, or we can single crochet. If we were to single crochet, the seam that's going to lay on the back of this would be much taller. By just slip stitching, it's going to be a softer, smoother join. But let me get to the end and then open it up and show you. If you're enjoying this pattern, you'll probably really like the other helps that I have for projects in my book, One Skein Crochet. And there's also a Granny Octagon, which is from this same book, Go Crochet Afghan Design Workbook. So I will see you on the next video. Pick one of those and keep right on stitching, and have a nice, relaxing, and feel proud of the valuable use of your time.